You ever wonder why your dog absolutely has to sleep right next to you? I mean, even when they have a perfectly good bed of their own? Most of us think we know the answer, but the real reason? Well, it's way stranger and honestly, a lot deeper than you might think. So let's kick this off with a scene that's probably a little too familiar for some of you.
Okay, picture this. It is 2 a.m. You are completely, totally out cold. And your dog? They have options. You probably bought them that fancy orthopedic bed. There's the couch, the floor, plenty of choices. And yet, there they are, glued to your side, taking up about 80% of the bed, maybe even snoring a little. So why? Why do they do this? The usual answers are, for warmth or it's just a habit. But what if I told you that scientists have found this behavior is actually rooted in 15,000 years of evolution? The truth might just change how you see your dog forever. All right, so first things first, let's tackle the biggest, most common explanation you always hear. They're just cold.
I mean, it makes sense on the surface, right? Dogs get cold. We're basically big, warm-blooded radiators. Case closed. Except, there's a huge hole in that theory. Your dog has plenty of other warm spots to choose from. Just think about it for a second. That perfect patch of sun on the rug, the heating vent in the floor, that pile of warm laundry that just came out of the dryer. Come on, if warmth was the only thing they were after, they wouldn't always pick you. Something else, something much bigger is going on here.
And to really get it, we need to look at a fear that every animal on Earth understands. Being vulnerable when you're asleep.
Sleep is just about the most dangerous thing any animal can do out in the wild. When you're asleep, you can't run, you can't defend yourself, you can't see danger coming. It's just a fact of life. And because of that, animals evolved this incredibly powerful instinct. Find the absolute safest, most secure place you possibly can before you shut your eyes. For most animals, that means a hidden den, a tight corner, someplace protected. But that's not what your dog does, is it?
Nope. Your dog walks right past every quiet corner in your house and chooses to climb up next to a creature that's like 15 times its size. So here's the key. This isn't about finding warmth. It's about finding safety. It's a massive act of trust. And believe it or not, scientists have actually put this to the test.
And this leads us to a really fascinating experiment. They took a famous psychological test that was originally designed for human babies to figure out just how deep this bond between us and our dogs really goes. So researchers at a university in Hungary used something called Ainsworth's Strange Situation Test. It was designed to measure the attachment bond between babies and their mothers, and it looks for 3 key things. First, does the baby try to stay close? Second, do they get upset when mom leaves the room? And third, are they easily comforted when she comes back? Well, they ran this exact same test with dogs and their owners, and the results were just wow. It turns out dogs showed the exact same attachment patterns as human babies. And get this, 61% of the dogs were classified as securely attached to their owners. That number is nearly identical to the percentage found in human toddlers. So when your dog climbs into bed with you, they're not just being cute, they're acting out a core behavior of attachment psychology. You are their safe person. But that's only part of the story.
Because this bond, it isn't just behavioral. It's actually chemical.
Back in 2015, a landmark study started looking at a hormone called oxytocin. You've probably heard of it. It gets called the bonding hormone or the love drug. It's what our brains release when we hold a baby or hug someone we love or even just make meaningful eye contact. It's basically the chemical glue for social connection. And this is where it gets truly incredible. Scientists in Japan discovered that when a dog just looks at its owner, the owner's brain releases oxytocin. In response, when the owner looks back at the dog's brain releases oxytocin. It creates this amazing self-reinforcing feedback loop of bonding across species. And here's the kicker. When they tried this with wolves that were raised by humans, nothing. The effect didn't happen. This loop is unique to dogs and humans. It's not an accident, it was evolved.
Yeah, a unique chemical bond like that doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. To really get where it came from, we've got to rewind the clock, way back.
This partnership we have is older than civilization itself. We're talking 15,000 years ago, long before farming or cities. Wolves started inching closer to human camps. And the ones that were a little less fearful, a little more curious, they did better. They got food, they survived, they had puppies. And generation by generation, they began to change. We even have evidence from a 14,000-year-old burial site in Germany. They found dogs buried right alongside humans. One of them had clearly been sick for a long time and nursed back to health. They weren't just tools or animals. They were part of the family.
And now, modern science can actually show us that this bond is written into their DNA.
Genetic research has found that dogs have these unique genes on chromosome 6 that are linked to extreme friendliness and human-directed contact seeking. Wolves, they don't have these genes. Our dogs were literally shaped at a genetic level to want to be near us, to bond with us, and yeah, to sleep beside us.
But scientists later discovered something even more unexpected. This bond isn't just ancient history or a cool chemical reaction. It's happening in real time every single night between your nervous system and theirs. Okay, check this out. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic found something kind of funny. Even though dogs objectively move around more and should disrupt our sleep, people actually reported feeling more secure and even more rested with them in the bed. Another study found that women rated their dogs as less disruptive and more comforting sleep partners than other humans. The feeling of safety was literally stronger than the physical disruption.
So how on earth is that possible? Well, a very recent study from 2024 looked at something called heart rate variability, or HRV. Basically, it's one of the best ways we have to measure how calm or stressed your nervous system is. High HRV is good. It means you're relaxed and resilient. Low HRV means you're stressed out.
And what they found was just mind-blowing. The heart rate variability of bonded dogs and their owners literally synchronize. Their nervous systems fall into rhythm with each other, especially when they're resting. When the owner's nervous system calms down, the dog's does too. It's a real-time physiological co-regulation happening between two different species through the night. It's incredible.
So this brings us to a really important practical point for every single dog owner out there. Because this behavior is so deeply ingrained, if your dog has slept with you for years and then suddenly stops, you need to pay attention. Sure, it could be something simple like a new pet in the house or a change in your schedule, but it can also be one of the very first signs of a problem, like physical pain, an illness, or even canine cognitive dysfunction, which is basically doggy dementia in older dogs.
So the next time you wake up in the middle of the night with only 6 inches of mattress to your name, just remember what's really happening. It isn't just a funny quirk. It's 15,000 years of shared evolution. It's a unique neurochemical bond that exists nowhere else in nature. It's a deep psychological attachment system, and it all points to one simple, powerful truth. You are their safest place in the entire world.
And maybe, just maybe, that feeling of safety is a two-way street. So it kind of leaves us with a question to chew on, doesn't it? Where is your dog sleeping tonight? And what does that choice really mean?
If you enjoyed exploring the animal world with us, subscribe to Bugs to Beasts. There's always more to discover.